All right, it's Wednesday, October 11th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with an inside a day, meaning we didn't take out the high of the previous day or the low of the previous day. We stayed inside, but it has a bit of a momentum hammer look, which means we should likely be testing up a little higher tomorrow towards that target and see if we maintain the momentum that started on Monday on the week. You can see the open of the week was here, and we've gone up for 3 days now. Well, this was a bit of a pause day, but we are trying to close higher and maybe continue higher. As always, with the inside bar, we look for the failures. If you remember, we were talking about inside bar failures over here, and when we went down and couldn't follow through and then came back up through the midpoint of that inside bar range, that was a big start up. So here, if we start up, for example, and really can't follow through much above that target, then we can come back through the range and fail and head to the downside. And maybe that starts the the back to the downside move that we're kind of keeping an eye on. We know we're, above the open of the month and the week right here. And so the bias is to the upside in the short run, but we also are aware on the weekly chart, even though it's a nice strong green week so far, we've reached our target on the 2 up. We're in a fair value gap that kind of goes all the way up to here. So we don't have anything at the moment that looks like a weekly reversal back down. And we're kind of trying to anticipate that. And the more and more the week goes on, the more and more, if nothing happens big on Thursday and Friday, this can close solidly green, and we might have to wait for a 2 another week up, and then a 2 down 2 weeks from now type of thing. So we're still to the upside. Today was the chance, maybe to have that reversal after the hammer bar from yesterday. But it would have been nice to start. If you look at the pre-market range between the blue lines, we really would have liked to start below the halfway point of that bar and immediately start down below the pre-market range. And we didn't do that. Instead, on the 15-minute chart, the pre-market was grinding to the upside of that pre-market range. And we opened up, near the top. Now, what's interesting is because we have this big fair value gap here from yesterday, we were just filling that in, and the very first bar took out at the pre-market high stops and then failed and then moved lower. So there was a sell here, and I bought some puts, and I discussed that. If you go back and watch the videos, I bought some puts. I was looking to scale out kind of at this first target, the pre-market lows, this liquidity down here, which I felt pretty strong would be reached. It came down, it almost, hit it and didn't. Then I broke even, and I discussed how I bought puts again, and then that one followed through nicely. So the whole morning trade on kind of 2 pushes and maybe even a third put, went down nicely. But I did discuss how we are inside of this bar from yesterday, and I didn't know for sure if we were going to, since we're starting way up high and coming down in 2 waves, are we really going to get a 2 down day? I wasn't sure about that, and I wanted to see how things unfolded. And again, that's another reason why just taking the morning trade here is the only thing to really do, even on, directional days. But in this day, again, not surprising in the sense that you didn't know for sure if you were going to get a 2 down. Once you reversed at some point, the strength came in, and there was obviously no secondary trades here to the downside at all in the afternoon. And, you're kind of at that point, you're inside, you're just chopping around inside of the prior day. So we never really got the 2 down to reverse anything. We had the potential for it here, but, you also knew that you didn't know for sure, given the fact you were kind of, just starting from the top of yesterday's range. So there was just some good short, put trading here early in the day. This thing you couldn't anticipate, but that's what developed, and we closed near the high. So that's why I expect a little higher tomorrow. So we will continue higher tomorrow. Expect that. We will look for a failure. Maybe the failure, is going to happen on Thursday and Friday of the week, if it's going to happen at all. If not, we then kind of stick with the long side, and we kind of know we still have room to run up here, and we continue to, be biased that way in the short run, given the big green bar and the open of the week and the month and everything's down here. And, you'll expect testing higher tomorrow. Let's just see if a little momentum builds to, since we filled this gap and we don't seem to be, rejecting it, we could be coming up here, to these highs now as well. So there's room to run up, and, I think we'll give it a shot tomorrow. Let's just see if the failure occurs. That's going to be just like this inside area. Come down, fail, come back through the midpoint. So if we go up and come back through the midpoint, keep an eye on that. That could be the start to some type of failure that might be unfolding. But until then, we will stick with the upside.